Hi, this is Joe Rataski with the Elementary Math Department. I'm here for part one of 3 parts of tutorial videos on planning for e-learning with mathematics. First of all, if you have not yet enrolled yourself in the Elementary Math landing page, you will want to do that. You can check out our Twitter feed, our Facebook feed, or notes for this video on how to self-enroll yourself in this Elementary Math landing page here. You will definitely want access to that because that is where you can find your instructional guides for all of our grade levels as well as additional resources. Instructional guides can be found by clicking on the grade level. Scroll down a little bit, you'll see the year at a glance. And we have the year at a glance Word document embedded into Canvas here. So this is an active document. Anywhere that you see a link, this is how you're going to access each of your units of study. As each unit is finished and uploaded to Commons, you'll see links here, knowing that that unit is complete and ready to go. The second thing you will need to do is to make sure that you have started to input or download all of your resources into your course. I have created a sample course, and I just went ahead and rolled with 2nd grade. Look at our Math Smarts PD for a video on that, as well as how to download all of the modules from Commons. So you'll see I have already downloaded my module for Unit 0, the first 5 days, Unit 1, and Unit 2. So let's say I've already accessed my guides, I've downloaded the GCG. You can look at the GCG in Canvas, or you can download it as a Word document. That's your choice, whatever is easier for you to work with. So I'm planning for instruction for this unit. You'll see I have highlighted the aspect that we're going to look at in this video today, which is the whole group Zoom lesson for e-learning. So I've highlighted all of that in orange. It won't be highlighted in orange when you actually get to the document. That's just to draw attention to what we're focused on today. You see, this is where all of our resources are available. And if you scroll down, the next page, after each GCG, you're going to have notes on the various aspects of the GCG resources. So make sure that you're checking out those notes as well. I am sure that you are aware we do have sample schedules for e-learning that have been given to us from the district. Here we're looking at a 1st grade sample schedule. It will look slightly different at grade levels, perhaps some different times, but for the most part, you're going to see that every day there will be about 30 minutes of a math whole group instruction going across the board here, followed by 30 minutes of purposeful practice or small group instruction. The small group should be every student at least once a week. Of course, those small groups can be fluid and changing depending on needs of students. Probably the first couple of weeks, that small group instruction is going to be where you can get to know the students a little bit better, maybe help them out with some of their technology, things like that. Here are 2 structures from the mathematics frameworks, which is structure A, the whole group concept introduction, and B, concept continuation with small group instruction. Of course, these structures were designed for brick and mortar in-person teaching. It doesn't mean that these can't be used with e-learning, but we're going to use them with some slight modification, as you will see below. So taking structure A and B and combining them into a new informal, unofficial structure, structure E for e-learning. So again, this tutorial focusing on the whole group lesson part of structure E, I have highlighted in orange. You'll see our whole group Zoom lesson that we will take a look at in a minute is going to consist of a math routine, an engage, a building understanding section, and a summary of learning. Of course, materials can be accessed from the instructional guide, and our aligned data could be, but not limited to, any of these exit tickets, polls on Zoom, students holding up pictures to the camera, any of their comments, their chats, anything you're getting from student that can help you make instructional decisions. In parts 2 and 3 of the tutorials, we'll be looking at the section down here. To help us focus, this is an optional planning tool. This will kind of just help us see how our videos are going to help out, how our tutorials. So again, in orange, this tutorial is really focused on the whole group lesson. Look for part 2 and part 3, which will focus more on the purposeful practice and the small group options that we have. So let's return back to our GCG. I'm looking at GCG 1 here for 2nd grade Unit 2. My learning goal is to use base 10 models and quick pictures to add 2-digit numbers. It should be about 3 days. Of course, you can vary that based on the needs of the students. Step 1 is to use base 10 blocks to add 2-digit numbers. And I know I'm planning for my whole group instruction. From the GCG, you can click here to download the PowerPoint. And that PowerPoint will open in SharePoint. If you're not logged in already, you will have to log yourself in to access the resources, of course. And we see our PowerPoint. Of course, this is in notes mode. You'll see some notes appear. So here's our routine that we were looking at. Here's notes on that. Here's our engage. This one's pretty cool. It's got a nice 3-act task with a video on candy. It's going into our lesson goal. Here's our building understanding. Of course, this doesn't look as interesting right now because I'm in the preview mode and not actually in presentation mode. Here's a formative assessment task that could be used to gauge student learning, and a summary of learning that could also be used. So when you first click, this PowerPoint is going to open just from SharePoint online. You're probably, well, in order to use it in Zoom, you're going to want to go ahead and download this PowerPoint. So you're going to click on File, Download As, and download a copy to your computer. So once you do that, you can make any changes, edits that you would want to, and that is going to be the lesson that you can use in your whole group Zoom. On the GCG, there are also notes, a lesson overview of notes. So you can do the same thing. Click on that link, open up that hyperlink. It's going to open up in our elementary math SharePoint. And you'll see these are the notes that were below the slides. So if you're more comfortable reading the notes from the slides, that's one way to do it. If you'd rather have this off to the side or printed, or if that's just the way you want to roll, then this is a Word document. You can do the same thing. Save it to your computer. With Word, it's going to be a little different. File, save as, and then you're going to want to download a copy to your computer. And of course, just like the PowerPoint, you can make edits to that and make it your own, customize it as well. Let's look at what that looks like in Canvas. I'm going to go back to my sample class, my sample course in Canvas, 2nd grade, that I've set up. Again, with Canvas, you can access materials here. We have our Unit 2 overview, and here's that same GCG documents that I had open. You can view it in Canvas if you're more comfortable doing that. You can download it from the instructional guide, or you can even download it here from this unit overview page. Just scroll down to the bottom, click here, and download a copy. So you've got a couple of options, whatever you're most comfortable with. Option 2 here with the lesson. So this is that using base 10 blocks to add 2-digit numbers. That same lesson, remember back here, I was clicking here to get the PowerPoint. I was clicking here to get the overview notes. Well, look at that. Here they are. Here's the overview notes embedded into Canvas. Underneath that, here's the PowerPoint embedded into Canvas. Just like the GCGs, you can download a copy of the PowerPoint. So you can do the same thing here. If you'd rather work in Canvas, you can actually see the animation as you click through as well. So once you download a module, remember module equals unit, once you download that from Commons, you'll have access to all of this in your course. For the whole group Zoom, well, one option that you can present to your students, we've added this assignment, whole group Zoom. You won't see the Zoom lesson here because, of course, you're going to want to use that in Zoom, but here's where you would add the link to your actual Zoom that you would use with the students. Very easy to work with. Click Edit. Of course, I'm going to want to put in the time. Let's say we're meeting at 10 o'clock. a.m. I'm going to copy in my Zoom link here. And another cool aspect, if you want your students to bring something or use something, maybe you want them to bring in some Cheerios. Available to use for counters. Maybe you just want them to have paper and pencil. Perhaps your school is given whiteboards out to every student. That might be something that they're bringing so that they can write their work down and hold it up to the camera. Anything that you have. Perhaps your school is giving out base 10 blocks to the students. You get the idea. Any kind of notes that you want to leave for your students, you can have here. So once you have your link in, all that's ready to go. Go ahead and go down, assign to everyone. This is going to assign it to everyone in your class. If you only want certain students, you can of course change that. And then the available from, I think we were starting at 10 a.m. So maybe I want to make that available at 9:55. And then just closing down the next day. So having this as an assignment, that is going to show up on the student's calendar view or their assignment view when they're logging into Canvas. That way they know, oh, 10 a.m., I'm going to have the whole group Zoom. Let me click on that. Here's the link. It's right here, ready to go for me. And then you would hit save. Since I'm not actually using that, I'm just going to close that out. Another aspect with the whole group lesson is in Canvas, this whole group lesson for review page already has that whole group lesson PowerPoint embedded in it. And that is for after the lesson. If students needed to come back or felt like they wanted to come back and review, maybe they forgot something from the lesson, maybe they want to revisit, maybe they want to share with their parents, hey, look at this cool 3-act task engage video that we did about the candy. Whatever the reason, it's here for students to go back. So again, all of these resources are just here as sample resources for you, recommended that you could use, but you don't have to use them. If you are using the module in Canvas, but maybe don't want to have this available, you can unpublish, you can delete it. Same thing for the link up here. If you're going to send it to them a different way, that's fine. Just remember anything you aren't going to use, you want to unpublish, and if you want to, you can just delete it to get rid of it. So if we're thinking about planning, that first aspect of planning for e-learning is that whole group lesson in Zoom. Going back through 3 steps, approximately 3 days. I'm looking at my notes, seeing that day 1, step 1. I'm going to use that step 1 lesson via Zoom. So my goal really is using base 10 blocks to add 2-digit numbers. Maybe I put that there for myself. And as a reminder, I'm in GCG1, step 1, Zoom lesson, and that is what I'm going to use for my whole group lesson. Repeat down, checking out the next step. Day 2, whole group, maybe we're using this Zoom lesson. Here's my learning goal. Now I'm on to GCG1, step 2. And basically that is what I'm focused on for my whole group Zoom lessons. Of course, these are just recommendations. They're great lessons. There's a lot of great notes. It's not scripted. Please make sure that you're making instructional decisions, asking those great questions as they come up. But there's a lot of good questions that are already embedded in there for you to use. That wraps up part 1 of our 3-part tutorial on the whole group Zoom lessons, accessing them in Canvas as well as the instructional guide. Be sure to visit our Math Smarts PD and follow us on YouTube. See, there's a lot of great videos, and that is where you'll find part 2 and part 3 of this series as well.